Welcome back, everyone. Joyce, our viewers are probably interested in hearing a bit about what this coming year will bring. And can you tell us what they can expect to see?
Well, you know, if it's anything like last year, who knows? There were so many surprises, a surprise election, even though there was a bill to not have elections in between the 4-year periods. So really, it's a mystery to me. But what people will see is that I'll be working with Michael Ignatieff and the other Liberal caucus members to hold this government to account, because it's a very important time right now, and the government's actions are really do impact people at a time of recession.
Of course.
I'll be out and about in the community, and I hope to see people from Vancouver Quadra at Salmonberry Days in the Dunbar area, at the Kerrisdale Street Parade and Festival. It's in just the end of April, and at a number of other events. And of course, I'll be hosting more roundtables. My website is a place where people can find the upcoming events. One thing that's been a lot of fun and has attracted a lot of interest is the Food Caucus's consultations on what we hope will eventually be a comprehensive national food policy for Canada. So my vision of this is that it will include issues around the environmental sustainability of our food production and transportation, around the health issues of the Western diet and how we eat, affordability and social justice issues. Some people can't afford to eat healthy food. And the fourth pillar really is a thriving and healthy farm sector and agricultural sector, the businesses that produce the food and drink for us. So we're consulting with Canadians right across the country, and I recently had an event to get input from people here in Vancouver. We hosted it at the UBC farm, because the UBC farm is also a project that I've been involved with. There's a 24-hectare farm out at UBC that has been at risk of being redeveloped for housing, and I believe that's the wrong way to go. We need that land to be maintained as a farm that can be available for research, for education, for engaging community members in what's going on with how food is grown. And so I had an event out there, and we had twice as many people as we expected came and joined us and gave their input. So lots of opportunities for me to hear from people.
I know one event that you haven't mentioned yet. It's happening in late April. Is a very big convention that's coming to Vancouver, and it sounds like some exciting stuff surrounding this convention. I was wondering if you might go into that for the viewers.
It's the Liberal Party's policy convention, and actually this is the very first time the Liberal Party has held their convention in Vancouver. Great. It's usually in Eastern Canada or Central Canada. So this is an important symbol of the new leader, Mr. Michael Ignatieff's conviction that the center of gravity of Canada is moving out west. And so, and as a former UBC professor, this is someone who really understands the importance of the West to Canada and to our federation. There was a lot of talk about this convention taking place in one of the regular places, Ottawa, Montreal, or Toronto. The BC caucus, really, we fought like tigers to keep it here. I personally flew out to meet with the national executive and met with a number of their members one-on-one to pitch the importance of the West and why the convention should be here in Vancouver. So it's going to be an exciting opportunity to show Vancouver to thousands of delegates from across the country. I'm looking forward to that.
We've talked a lot about the here and now, your work in Ottawa, your work in Vancouver Quadra as a member of Parliament, but I'd like to know a bit more about Joyce Murray as a person, how you got your start in politics, and what your background is.
Well, I worked in reforestation and built a company that does tree planting, but other restoration work, and particularly work with the First Nations, managing forests on a sustainable basis. So I became very concerned about the environment through my work in forestry, and that was one of the prime things that led me to run. And of course I was in the provincial government for 4 years as a cabinet minister before running federally. As a federal member of Parliament, I am really concerned at the lack of focus on children in our society. Now, Canada is rated as one of the lowest countries in the Western world in terms of how we support young children, and especially in low-income households. And what we do know is that when young children get proper support in the early years, they are much more likely to be successful in their adulthood. Mm-hmm. So the lack of childcare spaces, I think, is something that has to be addressed in Canada and in British Columbia. We need more attention to lifting people up so that we don't have such a big gap between the wealthy and those at the lowest income levels. And we, as Liberals, had quite a lot in our last platform to close that gap so that everyone can achieve their full potential. And that's really one of government's roles, helping people achieve their full potential through whichever policy means are possible. That being said, I'm also someone who is very concerned that we not lay a lot of debt burden on the next generation, because that's simply not fair. I've got 3 children, mm-hmm. adult children. It's not fair to have them pay off my generation's debts. So that's one of the reasons that I think it's so important that we are being very vigilant about this conservative government deficit spending. They are incurring huge debts. Every dollar is precious. We need to make sure that it is spent responsibly and effectively, because that money all has to be paid off someday. And it'll be my children, it'll be your generation that will be paying it off. So fiscal responsibility is important to me. So is supporting the vulnerable children and making sure that we focus on our environment and that we do things differently, really, than we've done in the past generations. That we really aim to minimize our impact on the environment.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for talking with us today, Joyce, and I hope we can do this again soon. I look forward to doing it again soon, and I look forward to being back. If you'd like to contact Member of Parliament Joyce Murray, you can do so at the following contact information, which you can see now on your screen. Email at murraj1@parl.gc.ca, visit her online at www.joycemurray.ca, or pop into the constituency office in Vancouver at 2111 West 38th Avenue. Call 604-664-9220. Thank you very much.